All right, so let's go ahead and go and look at where everything is. So let me go to the student view. So this is what you'll see. On the left-hand side, start here, and I know I'm supposed to put stuff in there, but I don't remember if I ever do, so I should take that out. But the syllabus and calendar. You'll have your syllabus and calendar here. Those are the most current ones. Uh-oh, they're gone. I have to, right below here, you'll find the remind and the syllabus tests. Again, I just want to see, one, can you use the computer? And two, can you use Remind? I don't know who's not familiar with Remind. Remind is an app that's communication. I like it because it goes straight to my cell phone. I hate emails because I have to log on. You saw all this buttons and presses we have to log on. So I keep away as much as I can. So we're going to communicate via Remind. For the next 5 weeks, I am yours. Send me a message. I don't care what day, time, night, whatever, 24/7, I'm yours. Because some of y'all may have jobs where you don't get off till 2, 3, 4 in the morning. If you have trouble and you need me to, if you want to meet at that time, then send me a message and I'll make sure I get up. I usually get up at 4:30 every morning. But if you want to meet before or after class or anything online, if you have any questions, don't hesitate. I'm always going to be available. As long as I'm not doing something else, I will respond to your message. Because I mean, you read a lot of other instructors, send me an email or remind, but don't send it during the weekend because I won't get it to you Monday. That's not fair to you. If you're working on your homework on Friday and they can't get back to you Monday, you just wasted 2 days of work. And that's why I like to try to answer my questions within the hour, so that you're still on the computer or still in your head. All right. So that's why Remind will be our go-to communication. And that's going to be one of the tests for the first part of this course is the Remind test, which when you go in there, you'll register for Remind for this course. And then you have to take this 4-question test and just send me the answers. It's a basic math test, and no matter what, you won't fail, because I just want to see what your logic and thinking of working through basic math problems are. And so and then the other one is the syllabus test, and that one is just so you do have access to my email also. What you do there is you'll take the test there. It'll give you a grade and everything. Don't worry about the grade. I'm gonna change them all to hundreds anyway, because sometimes it's so picky that if you misspell a word or if you put too many spaces between words, if you don't put a period, it'll kick it out saying it's wrong. So I'd say here's some basic 10 questions. Can you go ahead and do that? Again, don't sweat it. Everybody makes hundreds of those. The online meeting link is right here. This will take you straight to that website that you were just seeing. And if you click that, it'll take you to this Remind, where we are right now. Because I'm in Zoom. I know we're supposed to use Teams, but I don't like Teams. Teams is very flickery to me. Zoom, I have an account and I've been using it forever. So you have your access to your textbook here. And each of the chapters, just click those and it'll take you to a virtual chapter. But then again, you don't need to do this, because what I'm going to do, my job is to take what's in the book, the materials we're going to cover in each section, each chapter, and put it down. I'm going to pretty much regurgitate it first, and then we're going to discuss it and talk about what it means. Because I can read you definitions, but what do those definitions mean? And that's what my job is. And to give you examples and do a bunch of problems like that. All right, so you don't have to really read the book. You have all those. Again, you'll have you'll have examples and stuff. Besides, the first two sections of maybe the first chapter, I don't think it has any real math in it anyway, because it's all definitions and terms. Because mathematics is what we call a symbolic language. It is a language, because if I put this down, you don't see that? That's a whole sentence. It's actually called a statement. Think of how many words are in there. Do you see any words? That's what you're seeing in your head. Again, it's symbolic. This is a symbol. It means 7. From elementary school, we were browbeaten till we know what does 7 mean. It means 7 of an object. But through this course, that's it. So everything we do will be, this is symbolic based. So I got to teach you the definitions first. Because if I ask you to find the mean or the standard deviation or find me the z-score, again, those are all words, but they have to mean something to mean anything. So that's what the first part of this course is going to be. And as we go through each chapter, each section, we'll introduce new terms that you'll be using and needing to know to do that stuff. All right, so that's mathematics for you in a nutshell. All right, so that's your textbook. Interesting. Can any of y'all see your homework assignments? There it is. So yeah, go to My Lab Stats. This is to get to your homework. I'm going to rearrange these for y'all. See, you have 2 buttons. When you scroll down, you look for your homework, your quizzes and tests, or you can go here to all assignments. And I'll rearrange those for you. I'll put that on top. So you see everything that you have and the due dates. And tells you number of attempts, and the grade's going to keep the highest grade you have of any attempt you make. So you don't have to worry about that. Time limits, I don't have any time limits on my tests. So take your time, do it correctly, do it right. Because the fewer times you have to do it, the faster you'll finish. So yeah, you go through all these things. Now, in here, you see statistics orientation. This will just get you into the course itself. Click that, it's really just a walkthrough thing. Then you have your textbook for this chapter. And then you have your lecture videos. These are the publisher-made videos. Again, those will just highlight discussion and examples. Those are good, but I'll give you a lot more in this course. So you can watch mine, you can watch yours, you have access to whatever you need. And then you have, for any technology we'll have those, and it'll teach you how to use it. And then you have your homework assignments. These are the ones that are graded. Then you have your practice exams. 10% of your grade goes to bonus points. Here's your exam. Right now I have it set at 3, but again, if you need more, just tell me, I'll increase it. Same thing in chapter 2. You have your homework assignments, practice exam. And we go all the way through as far as we can in the semester. And actually, I took off chapter 10 because I don't think we'll have time for chapter 10. So I took off these guys. Notice there's no final exam. Again, it's a short course. We'll be cramming that stuff in. And that's why I'm going to make your final exam is going to be the average of all your tests. So your test grades, whatever those are, your highest grade test grades, I'll take all those, so all 8 of them, and average those. That'll be your final exam grade. Because yes, I could have a final exam, but again, it's going to eat away 2 or 3 of our days just to get the review and everything else ready for it. So it's not enough time. Yeah, because I know I'm going to get messages at the end of the semester. I can't see the final exam. Where is it? Those are the people who aren't here or who aren't following what I send out. Again, all my messages will be sent out through Remind. Any questions so far? Okay, and now let's go back. Because what's going to happen is what's missing here. I should go see it in a sec. Hold on. Maybe I just have them blocked from students' view right now. But when you come to this part here, yeah, right below here will be 2 links. Will be the syllabus test and the Remind test. The Remind test, the top part, it's going to have to get to access Remind. Here's your link. Click this, and it'll walk you through how to. Yeah, and the syllabus and calendar, it'll be under here. Let me see. Was it? Oh yeah, this is the math. Yeah, this. It's also my El Centro number. Got to change that. And my office hours are actually anytime via Remind. Let me see. They're here. Why is it not showing up on the students?
It says on their item is hidden from students.
Where you saw that?
Yeah. Availability, it says item is,
On this thing?
no.
Oh.
And just go back down. And right there, it says availability, it says item is hidden from students.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to get. Let me see. See, now it's got adaptive.
It says make it available.
Yeah, there it is. There's also, I don't know if you know, is we are in a process of changing operating systems for our online courses. We're going away from Blackboard to Brightspace. And that's a whole bunch of other stuff that you have to learn how to use now. But for your end, it's not going to change much. But for professors, yeah, we have to redo all of our courses. Okay, so let's see. That didn't help much. Okay. Syllabus test. It should be available. It should be available. Back to student view. Has to be in this one. Okay, that's one thing I have to fix. Sorry, everybody. Again, but those are not that integral in the course yet, but that is a problem. All right, so back to student view. Yeah, so all your work, when you go, you start your homework, your tests and everything, that's all you need. Again, the textbook's in one of the links already in your homework assignments, so that you have it. Again, and the textbook itself, it's just a pain if since it's online, you can't just flip through the pages. It's click here, read, read, read. And that's why I do that for you all. Question?
So with this exam, are we gonna have
I lecture all the time. Everything you do in your homework, your tests is outside of class. Take it whenever you're ready. As I said, you have until the August 11th to finish everything. So take it at your own pace, because some students may be ready tomorrow for chapter 1 test. Some students may not. So it's just at your own pace. If you find this stuff pretty easy and it works good for you, I had students who finished my courses in the first week or so. Because they said, well, I have 2 classes. I can finish this one now and worry about the other one that's more difficult. Like they had a physics or an engineering course or a human anatomy course. They said, well, that way I can finish this one now and work on that one later. So, or you can spread your time out in both of them and spend 5 weeks. Or if you have a vacation to go on the end of beginning of August, you can finish up beforehand. But the bottom line is this: I don't want to be inundated by a bunch of text messages saying, "Oh, I had so much trouble. This." No. Everybody understands that we have one 5-week course. It's due on this date, so I can't extend the due dates after that because I have my job. I have to get the grades in the next morning. So that's a school policy for me as well as a state Department of Education policy. The grades have to be in within a certain number of time after a certain date. So that's out of my control, and that's why begging for more time, excuses, like that, it's just I'll feel sorry for you, but there's nothing I can do. Okay, because actually the class ends August 10th. I'm giving you 1 more day already. But again, the sooner you finish, the sooner you start, the less you have to worry about then. Don't be like me. Don't be a procrastinator. Don't wait till the last minute to start it. Because again, it's computerized. At 11:59 p.m., it shuts off and you lose all access to everything. The place you look for your final grades is not on Blackboard, not on my math lab, but on eConnect. eConnect is where you'll see all your grades, your final grades. So yeah, because the way I do my calculations from the grades, I can't get the computer set up that way. So yeah, I have to average all the homework assignments. Anything that's not done, any homework assignments that aren't done, I have to put zeros in there because it has to have a grade. And that's why I don't like the grading mechanism that's online. Is it only grades what's been turned in. So if you don't try anything, you start off with 100. You have an A but not doing anything, and so you can't have that. So I gotta go in there manually, put zeros in for all the empty grades. Then I have to do the calculations for the 10% for the bonus points for each test, and then add those to your test grades, and then average all that. And your final exam, I have to average all your test grades. That'll be your final exam grade, and I have to add those. So again, it's just a lot of mechanical work on my end, which takes about an hour and a half of just calculations, and then I got to enter the grades. So that's what I'm asking y'all is, when the deadline is, do it. Any more questions? More questions? Any questions at all? No questions? Yes. No, practice exams. Yeah. Actually, you're right. I'm surprised I had any limit on those, period. I'm gonna take them off as you have infinite tries. But again, as long as you're not cheating, that means you're learning. This is like says, if I'm not winning, I'm learning. Think about that. If I'm not winning, I'm learning. Any athlete, if they lose, what do? They go back and work harder till next time till they win. once they win, then they've done what they can to master that ability in themselves. Same with you. If you're not acing the test, then you're learning. You have more place to learn. Unless you make 100, then there's something else you can learn. But again, it's an ideal grade is 100, but don't make it your ultimate goal, because you can spend all your time in test one and fail the rest of the tests. All right. Checking my grades. Again, all this will have all your test grades. Let's say I have to go through, and even though I've done this 3 times already, I've had these organized in order. It throws them in any way it wants to when it brings it up. So, but again, this is secondary because you have it all already on my math lab, or my lab stats. You already have all that stuff there. You know what your grades are. You can look at your grades by going on my lab stats, all your assignments. And you'll have your grade. Okay, another thing. The only grades that I'm interested in, only grades, are your homework, your practice test and test. Because it's a glitch, I call it a glitch, is that in order for me to put this up online so you can see it, I have to get assess at some points to my lab stats. This orientation, this textbook, these videos are all assignments. In other words, this will give you some points if you just watch videos, but those points mean nothing to me. I delete all those at the end of the semester when I do my grades. So I had students who are boosting their grades by watching all the videos, but half the homework wasn't done. And when I told them that they failed the course, I said, "Yeah, but I had all these hundreds." I said, "No, those were videos. Those were not assignments." And so again, I can't stress that enough, is your assignments are the homework, the practice tests, and your exams. Everything else, technology, lecture videos, textbook, and orientations, all that sort of stuff, you'll have points for them, but they're gonna get deleted. And maybe that's the only way I can attach it to my lab, so you can see it and click it yourself without having to go outside of my lab, go into Blackboard and watch it on there. So that's very important also. Yeah, so I'll go ahead and remove these bonus point limits. Yeah, I don't know why I put 3 on them. And the calendar that I set up, when I went back and looked at it, it didn't have a couple of these sections. I went ahead and put those in there. So again, the syllabus is an outline of the course. The calendar and everything on there is a living document. It'll keep on changing. What's real is what's on when you log on my math lab, my lab stats. That's what you're assigned. So even say, but I'll get comments saying, yeah, but section 2 of chapter 4 is in the syllabus. Yes, but it's online. It's assigned. It's your homework. So that way I don't have to go through and redo the syllabus, redo the calendar, upload it, and send out another message. So I'm just saying that whatever you see here is what your grades are going to be consisting of. All right, so I make that perfectly clear. More questions, more questions. Yes.
Math 13, 14, or would that be changed? I mean,
Well, go ahead and yeah, go in the one that says math 13, 14, and I'll go ahead and change it. Yeah, just use the one that's the link on there already. That's on that start. You have it on start menu. Okay, yeah. So go ahead and do that. Yeah, use that one. And I'll go ahead and transfer you all to this course from Remind. So 14. Yeah, because it's when you it is this course, but when you go here, look at, when you go to start here, you go to start here, scroll down. And you'll have this one here, the Math 1343 Remind app link. Just go ahead and use that, and it'll get you on the Remind, and it'll tell me who you are, and then I'll transfer you on to this course. There's this summer I have 7 courses I'm teaching, so I have 7 different Remind apps up and running. I just have to clean it up. What was the question?
No, she was telling me about the email you had sent out. I was trying to find it.
Yeah, I sent out some stuff earlier with pretty much what I'm talking about today, what this course is about, and I sent it to your email, so you should have it somewhere there.
Okay.
But again, everything I sent out to you, I'll try to send it out to you via Remind. All the links to the videos and the notes will be via Remind. Anybody have any plans for the summer other than school? Now that's why y'all here. What part? What? You getting married? Happy pre-anniversary. Happy wedding. Congratulations. And you're over here instead of a honeymoon? Yeah, also when the prices get better. Excellent. Congratulations. Let me see what I was going to talk about. So we had that textbook, the assignments. Yeah, and when you get onto Remind, it'll have a bunch of settings you could do. Some people have their settings like on do not send messages before 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm gonna send it to you whenever, because I get up early in the morning, and if I get my work done at 4 or 5 or 6 in the morning, would you all be upset if I send it? Because it goes to your phone. I know if it rings and wake you up, or I could wait till after 8 o'clock and have it set up to there. So I lose track of when I'm awake and when I'm not. So and I know a lot of people have their cell phones, and the younger the generation is, the more Pavlovian the response to a phone call or a message. If you watch kids, as soon as there's a message, they start salivating. I mean, you all are guilty of this. Is as soon as you walk out this door, actually, as soon as I finish talking, you'll get your phones out and check your messages, check your social media. It's gotten that way that it's part of nature. Me, I'll just track where my phone is all the time. The only time I need it is when I need it for work. I'm also going to look for another classroom, because again, this setup for the way I do it, because I lecture from here, I write down the stuff and I record it, and you see it up there. So in order to look at me, I mean, you're at a tennis game. So that's why I'm gonna try to find another room where the setup is better, so that it's easier for me. I mean, even the room next door would be better. Yes, yeah. Oh yeah, because I don't want to walk too far from the parking lot. Where'd y'all park this morning? Who parked on the other side of the building? Yeah, because if you come in from Illinois, it's all blocked off, and then you have to go around and you figure out, hey, there's another entrance. You have to go all the way back to Illinois to Duncanville Road, and then coming back. And then those, even there, it's like a maze, because you have event registration. They have arrows pointing you everywhere. So yeah, that's what made me so. Again, I do apologize. And also another important reason I want you always to remind, because if anything happens, let's say if I have a dentist appointment and they tell me I can't speak or anything for a day or so, I don't want you guys to come over here, wait for me and wait, or wait to read the sign on the door. I will send you a message as soon as I know if anything that affects my schedule of being here, either late or whatever. I will send you a message ASAP. Like if I had if you all registered and remind already, you would know that I'd be late when I'm looking for a parking spot. And actually, I eventually had to park because I figured I could either walk half an hour from next to Texas Stadium, or I could park over here illegally and then hopefully they don't catch me for the next while. So I opted for the illegal one. Anyway, if you get tickets, take care of those because that does go to the city of Dallas. They're legitimate because I got one because I forgot to hang my handicap tag up, and I had to go to North Dallas on 635 to where the courthouse is to handle these tickets. So yeah, if you do get one, take care of it ASAP because it is Dallas County Police. I had to pay $10 court costs, but they said yeah, and it said, you're supposed to put it up. I said yeah. I tried to think of a good excuse. I couldn't. Yeah, but I use that too many times. I'm Arthur. So, all right. So let's see what else. Wait, let's just start today. I just want to do a general discussion of what this course is going to be about. Because you signed up for statistics. And also part of statistics is probabilities. We're going to discuss all that. But what does it mean? What does statistic mean? What is a probability? What does that mean? A collection of something. Give me an example. Ah. Okay. Does anybody agree with that? A statistic is a population. Ooh. Give me an example of a statistic. I mean, a what? No. It's found by a collection data, yeah, which is what we use our population for. Population is where we get our data from. But even smaller than a population is called a what? Yeah, but okay, let me give you a hint. What? Very good. Sample. Because a population is almost impossible to get. Because a population is 100% of everything you're evaluating. If one piece is missing, then you don't have a population. You just have a very large sample. Actually, that's also why the government does it once every 10 years. What do they do once every 10 years? Census. One census is sent to every household. And the head of household is supposed to record everything about everybody in that family, about their everything. It's used for statistical analysis. It helps professors and engineers design things, to develop courses, or helps governments design, okay, how many more schools do we need? Because it gets to a point in a elementary school or junior high or high school that there comes to a point where there are more students than teachers can handle. If you've ever been to in a public classroom, you know that should be anything more than one student. Because, well, it's now something like 25 students, 23 students to a teacher. That works in college, great, because you're paying to be here, you want to be here. But in high school and junior high and elementary school, they're forced to be there. They don't want to be there, so they don't care. So that's what they help base their taxes on, is how much more money do we need to hire more teachers, build more schools. So that's what it's all about. That's what the census is all about. A sample is just a a part of the population that you use to try to make an educated and logical analysis of the population. So I would survey all of you all. Because let's say that you would be a good distribution of students that go to Mountain View and ask you questions. So you're my sample. And what I would do with my analysis, I would say that 30% of the students surveyed do not like face-to-face classes, or 70% of them prefer online courses, or I could do that. And then I could project it to the overall population of Mountain View students. Is that a good estimation or not? Why not? That's true. The smaller, yeah. And that's what we'll use. We'll use a number n. N will be the sample size that we talk about. For instance, in this class, let's say there's 20 students. So n equals 20. We're defining letters and numbers as we go along. You're right. There are 36,000 students that attend Mountain View. And there are only 20 here. So that's a very small population sample. And we only have 3 male students. And it's roughly around 51% male-female ratio in the overall. So it's a very skewed population sample here. So yeah, it's how would you fix it? What would we have to do to our sample to make it better? So I can make a logical estimation of the population. What's that? Increase it, yes. The more, the better. The more samples you have, the better. Here's a mathematical way of saying it. The larger the sample size, the more accurate the estimation of the population. Now, what problem do you see with that? What word in there makes it very difficult? Pin it down. How large? How large does it have to be a good sample size?
They always equal out.
No. Because now think of this way. How many of you have been to a store or a mall or someplace where you see people who have notepads taking surveys? Do you think it's better if they took people who came to them, said, hey, I'll take the survey, or if they stopped people and asked them? Which one's better, you think? Because it does make a difference. Randomly selecting people is much better. Because if you take people who come to you, ask you, hey, what are you surveying? And they tell you, and you say, I'll do it. Or if you say, if you do it, we'll give you this coupon for a free ice cream or free McDonald's. Then they're motivated to take the survey. Are they motivated to give you the true answers? No. I can't tell you the number of times that I've been, I say pressured, but someone would leave me alone. So they gave me a survey to do, and I just answered in there just to answer it. I didn't read the questions. And you could tell also by looking at some of the surveys, you can look at the pattern that people put patterns on these sheets, like a zigzag, like Harry Potter mark on his forehead. So again, is if you have people randomly selected, that's what we call a random sample. If you randomly select your sample, as opposed to taking volunteers or walk-ins, then you'll have a better distribution of people.
So the outcome will be more accurate.
It'll be closer. Yeah, it'll be more accurate. I mean, here you are. I cannot ask you guys to take a survey about online classes, math classes, because you signed up for a what? Face-to-face course. Why did y'all sign up for a face-to-face course? How many of y'all had no choice? They needed this course and they had no choice. How many of y'all prefer face-to-face as opposed to online? Okay, so this is where one of my research projects for my doctorate was, why? There has to be, that's a predominant opinion. They either love or they hate online math courses. The students who love online math courses, there's a question on the amount of learning that goes on. So I know everybody here knows that the internet is full of these cheat things that'll do the work for you. That's just it. It'll do the work for you. It's not going to let you learn. You will be just as dumb as you were at the end of the course as you were at the beginning of the course without knowing anything except how to put things in a computer. That's not learning. If your goal is to learn, yes, then you'll take it the best way you can. Now, why is face-to-face better than online?
So I had the option to take it through my 4-year program that I figured out or take it through here. I do everything else online through that program, but I'm taking this through here because I know that I'm better if I can face-to-face talk to somebody through.
Now, if I was in the next room and you saw that, and the microphone on the camera up there, and I had my microphone, you could hear me, but you didn't have to swivel your head. Would that change anything?
No. And see, I moved, but a lot of it for me is in order to understand the math portion of it, I need to have that face-to-face.
Really?
But I know that's fine, but everything else I'm taking, I'm fine.
That is interesting. Because yeah, it's once people realize that, hey, because all they really do is they watch a lecture. And you're right. So people every now and look at the teacher, but it was happening is happening on that screen right there. And there's a lot of that's the way I do it. And that's why I like live streaming, because as the course goes on, I find out that students had bad experiences, other teachers that they weren't taught. There was here's a math course, watch these videos and do these works. And that's not teaching, that's not learning. I mean, you have to be the questions asked, the examples given have to be relative to what's going on.
It's different from other courses because in reading, for example, you have to read the story and the answers are there. When it comes to math, it's a little more critical because you have to read the question, know what formula you have to use, how to plug those numbers into that formula. So sometimes I think we get lost and it's better to have you in person.
That's the way when I teach algebra, the worst part of math people hate are word problems. Think about it. How many of y'all don't mind reading? Yeah, I hate reading too. But by reading, in English class or history class, in fact, you're taught to read for general content. You said all the answers are there. What's in there? But in mathematics, when you read, you have to read for specific information that's in there. What words in there tell me about what I'm looking for? In a math sentence, word problem, the formula you have to use, the numbers you use, the equations you have to use are all given to you. It's just in paragraph form. It's a different way of reading that we're never taught in school. And again, why is that? Is because in elementary school and junior high, when you start learning, well, anyway, in elementary school, you'd be surprised. 90% of the homework assignments there are all word problems. If Johnny had 3 apples and Susie had 6, how many do they have together? They're all word problems. Then in junior high, it goes away. We get textbooks now. Teachers don't like word problems, so they don't stress those. They touch those as few as possible. I really think that all math courses from day one should be word problems. You're in a class right now where it's nothing but word problems. Because think about it. What is statistics and probability? It deals, well, I'll tell you that in a second. But it all deals with, you're given a real world situation. You have to extrapolate the information from there and get down what you need. Very big. Mathematics, I define mathematics not as a subject. It's a philosophy of logic. If you think about it, back in the early days, I mean, I'm not talking about in the very early days, Plato, Aristotle, Socrates, Eratosthenes, Euclid, back in the Greek days, mathematics was taught under the auspices of philosophy. It's logic. How you think, I mean, think about it. If you're given a problem, it's not an accident why they call them problems in mathematics. Is that a problem? It should be answered be no, it's easy. It is an equation, yes, but we call it a problem. Why? Because we're given information and we're asked to come to a conclusion. Think about your everyday life. At work, you are faced with problems all the time. Problems, the same word, but no numbers. But what you have is, what are you given? What mechanical objects or what methods do you know how to fix it? And what do you come up with as a final conclusion? It's the same thing. Critical thinking, logic thinking, which is what this is all based on, is what the words we use, the approaches we use will dictate how we do it in the end.
Let's come back to what you're talking about earlier about the symbolic.
Yep. Because whether we do a ratio or an average, or because each one of these words means something else, they are found by using different mechanisms. So once you decide in statistics and probability what method you're going to use, your approach to gather your data and analyze data already predefined. It's just once you get that done, it's just number crunching from there on out. So you see, so I'm getting to you is the hardest part of this course is not the math part. The math part will be put numbers in a formula, hit enter, and you're done. The hardest part is understanding what words define these processes and tell you what equations to use, what formulas to use, what process to use. That's the hardest part. It's going to be the definitions of all these words. Especially since I haven't even defined statistics and probability yet, and we've been talking about it for the last 20 minutes. So yeah, you have to understand the basics, the words used. Okay, we still haven't defined a statistic. And you haven't given me a real world example of a statistic. There is a statistic. Does it approach the population? Yeah, because this thing talks about 80% of the students in my math class. The population is what? My math class. The 80% came from where? All my other math classes. So it took all the math courses I ever taught, statistics courses and all the students and average those grades in. That's 80%. So that says when you sign up for this course, I mean, I made this up, of course, it's not real. I mean, something like 0.8. What this says is you have, out of 10 people, 8 of y'all will make A's. That's what it means. But is it always that? Yeah, sometimes it'll be 7 out of 10. Sometimes it'll be 9 out of 10. But again, this is an average. This is a percent. That's a statistic. In other words, and so that's a statistic. That's a stat. A probability. Am I give me a probability example? And you said it perfectly. What could happen? So in essence, these two words, statistics and probability, break down into two different possibilities. And they both look the same. What blank happened? What blank happened? Statistic is what did happen. Probability is what can happen. So what's the difference here? Yeah. Yeah. Think in tense, in time periods. Which one's which?
Before and after.
Yep. This is the past. This is the future.
Like a prediction.
The whole field of probability was started in a town in Europe called Monte Carlo. You may know it because it's famous for its casinos. Gambling. Probability is the gambler's language. What is the chance of me winning this game? Any game you play. I don't care what, if it's Yahtzee, if it's Monopoly, if it's Blackjack. In your head, you are subconsciously doing probabilities to try to win. Who knows what the game Yahtzee is? Yeah, Yahtzee is a game, you have 5 die, and you have to roll it to make these certain patterns. Like 3 of a kind, 4 of a kind, something like that. When you roll it, you see what you have, and then you say, okay, now what's the best chance I have to making this? If I roll this, I have this chance. If I roll this, and we're going to learn how to do those probabilities. And you'll find out that it doesn't matter what you roll because each die is independent of the other one, and you could roll all of them over again, you get the same thing. So, but that's what this course is about. We're gonna, in the statistics part, we're gonna analyze what happened in the past. In the probability part, we're gonna look at what's gonna happen in the future, what can happen in the future. How many of y'all know what it means when a weatherman says there's a 20% chance of rain? Matt? It'll rain somewhere, exactly. So let's pretend here is our Metroplex. Here's Fort Worth. Here's Dallas. And Grand Prairie, Duncanville, DeSoto, Irving, Arlington. When they say 20%, 20% of the viewing area will get rain. Not Duncanville has 20% chance of rain. It just says 20% of this viewing area will get rain. Very misleading. How many times when we were kids, we were thinking, so there's a 80% chance of, or 30% chance of rain, snow during wintertime, so you can no school tomorrow, but it happens in the northern part of the area. The 30% is up there. Southern people don't get nothing.
So you angle to the equation based off of something else happening.
Elsewhere. Because what the weatherman does is they have their picture and they look at where the storm pattern's coming, and it only hits this area. There's your 20% chance of rain or snow or whatever. And they look at what's coming on further to say, okay, the chances increase when this other front is coming through. So that, yeah, that's it's misleading information. Growing up, I don't know, young kids may not know this, but older ones do. How many of y'all remember the toothpaste commercials? 4 out of 5 dentists. You ever hear that commercial? Yeah, there's a commercial in the old days that it was, I think it was Crest or Gleam, that said that 4 out of 5 dentists recommend this toothpaste. What is that making you believe? Four out of 5 dentists prefer Gleam or Crest or Colgate or whatever. What does that mean to you? Yeah, that is exactly. That's what they want you. That's exactly what they want you to believe. That's great toothpaste. So you'd go out and buy it, wouldn't you? Yeah, because if 4 out of 5 dentists, what's another way of saying 4 out of 5 dentists? Using percentages. Almost, you're close. 80%. And that's also what we're going to talk about this calculator. You're very close. It was 80%. 80%. 80% of what? If they were truthful, of the dentists surveyed prefer this kind of toothpaste. But you don't say that. They say 4 out of 5 dentists. When was the last time anybody's been to a dentist for a cleaning or a checkup? I know we're all horrible at this. It's been years. It's been a decade for me, at least. And that's what I'm feeling now, which we really should do it more often, especially when your insurance pays for your cleaning and checkup twice a year. And think about it, that's the best toothbrushing you'll ever get. And somebody else to do it for you. No, anyway, when you walk out of a dentist's office after a checkup or a cleaning, they give you a little baggie. What's inside that baggie? A toothbrush, a toothpaste, and those little tabs and floss. Yes, and floss. But it's interesting about that toothbrush, the floss, and those little chewable tablets to see where you're missing when you brush. They have no names on them, or it's a generic brand. The only thing that has a name on it is what? The toothpaste. The toothbrush is one of those ones that get 10 million for a penny. Those tablets, again, make billions of those for next to nothing. So the people who gave you gave the dentist those free bags are the company that has that little toothpaste in there. You get that little cute little tube in there, has either Crest, Gleam, whatever the toothpaste is. And so you got it from the dentist office. What is that? Now, what do you go home thinking? Is recommended by the dentist, or else they wouldn't give it to me. The dentist never even looks at it. The office manager talks to these people, so we'll give you 5 boxes of this stuff that has like 2,000 free samples. Give it to your patients for free. No skin off the dentist's back. It's free toothpaste, toothbrush for the clients. So I say, sure, go ahead. But it's all meant to make you think that the dentist is approving of this. It's all marketing. Yeah. So when you hear 4 or 5 anything, always take it with a grain of salt. Never believe anything you hear in statistics. If you hear any number on TV, especially by a politician, run the other way. Because you could make statistics or percentages tell you mean anything you want it to say. There's a book written by a guy named Wheeler that's called Lies, Damn Lies, and Statistics. And it just shows you it teaches you how to lie, cheat, and steal with statistics. Here's an example point. 4 out of 5 dentists. Now, what does the 4 out of 5 dentists really mean? Do we know? Okay, that's my population, 5 dentists. Which 5 dentists did you choose? Because they tell us nothing else about it. Were they 5 dentists that you gave these free boxes to? Or are they 4 dentists that you gave free boxes to, and the 5th one you have to pick somebody else? Because you can't say 5 out of 5 say it. That's lying. As long as you're not 100% sure, people can't argue with you. The only time you can ever say it, if you said 5 out of 5 dentists say it's good toothpaste. In this case, yeah, this is the size. Right. If we have to look at in relationship to population and sample, right? That's assuming, of course, there's only 5 dentists in this whole country or in the whole world. Again, you have to know, the more information you know, the more accurate the stuff is. When you 80%, well, how big is the N? What does N stand for? Sample size. How many people do they? Then we get even more accurate. And capital N is the population sample. So the more you know, the more this stuff means to you.
Does it always, if it's explained out like a person with 80% versus, so does that change the format of how you would look at it? Like,
Not really, because if I said 80% of the dentists, which sounds higher, 80% or 4 out of 5? Because 80% still leaves 20% undecided. This one just leaves one dentist. He's a crackpot. So again, so you minimize, you try to pick the numbers that make stress what you're trying to push. Here's an example from your textbook. %, the percentage of female veterinarian students who are women. Anybody see anything strange with that? Well, you have the source, Glasgow, Scotland, the Herald, but look at the statement. The percentage of female veterinarian students who are women. Aren't they all women? Aren't all female veterinary students all women? Exactly, yeah. So again, you just read this thing and you were believing it or listening to it or making sense out of it. But it made no sense. 78% of the women who are veterinary students are women. I hope they're all women. Actually, no. What I would like to do is have a short day today, just call it day today. And that we'll start tomorrow with the section 1, chapter 1, and go through all the definitions. But I just want to give you a heads up on what this course is about. And we're going to start learning to read more precisely what we're reading. Because not everything in print, even though it's coming from a newspaper or a magazine article, don't ever believe those until you know more about it. Magazines. Go home, look at any magazine or a periodical that you get. And find anywhere in there that has a percent or some kind of statistic, and bring it tomorrow. And we're going to talk about it, see if it's valid or not, and what makes it valid, what makes it invalid. All right, so I want you guys to start learning how to read these things. Or when you hear something on the news or on TV, what if it's a commercial? Bring that up also. We could look it up and we'll put it on the computer tomorrow. All right, because yeah, we're gonna start dissecting what people are telling us. All right, yeah, and then from here on out, we'll the way I have this course set up, if you counted, we have 20 class days, right? 19 today. And there are something like 25 assignments. What I wanted to do is I wanted to have, for every class day, have one assignment due at the end of the day. So that when you finish the class, you go home, do the homework, and you're done. But for chapter 1, we'll do pretty much, if not all of it, tomorrow, because it all flows together. And then I'll give us a couple of days to do the work. But we don't meet on Fridays. But I will go ahead and also record that lecture and send it to you. And then on Monday, if you have any questions over that video on Friday, that way we don't overload each day. I'd rather keep it one lesson a day, 5 days a week for 5 weeks, and then see how far we get. But first chapter 1, again, it's all definitions, it's all examples and stuff of population, sample, what is quantitative versus qualitative. Okay, so what's ratio versus percent? That's all. That's what we'll cover that tomorrow. We'll see how far we get. If not, we have Wednesday and Thursday to cover chapter 1. But I want to try to get chapter 1 finished by Wednesday, no later than Thursday, and start chapter 2. All right. So for today, you really have nothing except look for examples of statistics, some percentage stuff, and what it means, and what they're trying to tell us it means. All right. Other than that, you're free to go.